Uh-oh. Come on. My little flame doesn't want to. There we go. Good evening, Darren. See you later, baby. Have fun. Love you. Love you too. Be safe. Got everything you need? You and Tech You got it. Yes, yes. I'm good, Darren. Good, good, good. Started early today. Good. Oh, shit. Darn, I think all right, baby. I love you. See you later. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, my love. See you later. Bye, my love. Yeah, I need to get it together, huh? Bye, my love. Oh, I'm just sweet. If you let that take you off, oh my God. Wow. Okay, then. Not common presence there. No, no, no. All right, y'all. So we're closing the space so we can get into today's lesson. Today is the last day for now of my workbook. This is step five. Another step. There are five steps in this workbook. My workbook is called Healing the Mind. You can find it in my bio. But we're going to talk about the last step, which is embracing your complexities. So we can read together our web of our purpose web. I call it purpose web because I come to share how to get to blend all of our purpose, all of our passions together. Not just look like blessing. It's a better one. We have to bring together all of our passions, embrace our entire full self, authentically align with our purpose. And notice how I say align with our purpose. All in a getting sorry. But feel like we're so close to it, but it's not really benefiting ourselves. It's not benefiting us. So we need to start figuring out, identifying our passions so that we can use them together and can align with our real purpose. It's like, so God is telling you that if you have multiple passions, don't be afraid to put them together. Don't be afraid to put together meditation and technology. Don't if your passion is in technology and your passion is in meditation, find a way to get together. And then when you find the way to meet them together, you will then find what I would say a way to monetize that. So I feel like we all want a lot of us want money and a lot of money will bring us the peace and freedom that we desire, right? And when we find our purpose, or when we define our purpose is always within us. We just have to push down, hidden, and then find that part of us that has been pushed down, and we can start to embrace it, and we can stop hiding, and we can stop shrinking ourselves out, and we can stop allowing others to tell us what to that is what's the power of leaving all passions together so that you can align with your purpose. Because ideally, the things that you're passionate about is what you're supposed to do. And you expect them to get to. So, for example, well, let me give you an example. Let me finish it. And then say, we're getting rid of all negative, we're getting rid of things. We are no longer living in lack. We are no longer hiding ourselves. We are no longer shrinking ourselves. We are no longer hiding ourselves or our light, our smoke in this world. We are no longer allowing other people's judgments, other people's opinions. We are not no longer asking for permission to be seen, heard, understood. We're asking for permission. We are contracts that held us back and might have kept us safe at some point, but no longer serve us in the past. We are moving those contracts. We are moving those invisible agreements. And we are stepping into alignment with who we're supposed to be. So we are getting rid of all of that negative, stagnant energy, all that limiting belief energy, and we are stepping into who we are supposed to be. We are bringing the energy of our future selves and whatever that looks like. Okay? I should. Okay, so when I created this page of the Healing Mind workbook, it was because I knew that I have a complex mind. And I felt like I wasn't the only person. I know I'm not the only person that can be passionate about multiple things and have interests in multiple things. And I'm not the only person that feels like they can't niche down. They can't just do one thing. Specifically for social media, because we are in a digital age, and that's where life is. That's where life is going. That's where the work is. Sorry. Okay. And so when I created this page, it was based off of my own complexities and how I have interest in astrology, which is I'm going to touch on that today. How I have interest in spirituality, which we're also going to touch on today. How I have interest in healing, so when I started my YouTube channel, I would start off by saying, how would I say it? Hey, my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Melissa Simone, and on my channel, I talk about self-love, healing, astrology, personal growth, sometimes spirituality. Like that would literally be my line for my YouTube channel. Okay, and so as you can see, there are multiple things there. There are multiple passions there. There's self-love. There's healing. There's astrology, spirituality. My sun sign is a Gemini. Okay, so this is what I mean by having so many different passions. And when you have these passions, you cannot be afraid to express them. You can't allow this world to tell you you got to niche down. You can't allow this world to tell you that you don't fit into society because you like so many different things. No, the reason you are here is to be is to be authentic. Authentic is what's going to get you the views or the, the sales or the book, the books. You feel me? Like authenticity, being yourself, being your genuine self is what's going to get you your community. It's going to get you the money. Okay. And so when I created this page, it was all about listing your passions and how to integrate your passions. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let me get my notes. But as you see, this is step five of my healing my work with the beginning of the course. Step five of my healing my work with the beginning of the fire. And this is the last step in my workbook. And I feel like it's had a lot to do with healing the mind because we get so caught up in what society tells us that we need to do. We get so caught up in people pleasing and telling ourselves that, well, he's not doing that, so I shouldn't do that. Or somebody is telling us that they couldn't do it, so you can't do it. It's very, very um it's very, very like one sided and we don't have to listen to anybody because nobody else is walking our journey. And I don't want to say it like we don't listen to anybody. Like we should definitely take heed to the people who are walking in the same down a similar path to us, what they're saying. Okay, like someone who is interested in the same thing as you're interested and maybe have a little more wisdom or a little wisdom in general. Because someone can have the same amount of wisdom that you have, but in a different way. Does that make sense? Like you could have a bunch of wisdom. Say you have like this much wisdom, right? But somebody else also has this much wisdom. But this wisdom looks completely different from this wisdom. So you could literally just be examining or like studying someone who is interested in the same thing that you're interested in, that you can learn from, and then they can also learn from you. Okay, so those are the kind of people we can listen to. And when it comes to people who are telling us we can't do and we shouldn't do, those are the people that we cannot listen to. Okay? So, okay, so yeah. So when I started my YouTube channel, and well, when I started my YouTube channel, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what I was going to talk about because of my complexity, because so many different interests. And when I started, I would just make random videos. I remember the first video I got a couple views, like more than one, was me in a botanical garden just expressing my inner child. Okay, just lollygagging, running around a freaking botanical garden because I was in my happy place because I love flowers. I love greenery. I love a garden space. I'm a Mayflower myself, so I love anywhere where there's flowers, bees, butterflies, hummingbirds. Like that's my vibe. So I went to the botanical garden And then I did. And then I think I sat down in the garden and I was in that garden and I did a video and I can't tell you what I was saying in that video. Um, it's on YouTube. It's not on TikTok. And I can go back and find it and post I could post it on TikTok. I have to go find it. It's like I started my YouTube in 2022. So that was like my first video that actually got views, and I was just being authentic. The whole point of that is that I was being authentic. I was just in a garden expressing my inner child, and I recorded some shit that made me feel good, and people resonated with that. That is the point. People resonate with people who want to talk on TikTok, posting on YouTube, or TikTok. So yeah. So because I didn't know what I wanted to post on TikTok on YouTube, I just started posting about my life, okay, about the challenges in my life. And I had just gotten into like going to my spiritual journey. And so I'm making these videos about what I've been through and what made me get onto the spiritual journey, which originally started off as a self-love journey, which which in turn became a spiritual journey because I started loving myself and I started realizing that God has been in my life or a higher power has been in my life, right? And I was like, I always believed that there was a higher power keeping me safe, keeping me here, keeping me alive. And and so I began to love that as well. And then I began to learn how I am a form of God energy. And then I started loving myself even more. And then, as you can see, that self love journey turned into a self discovery journey, or the self discovery journey turned into a self love journey, which then turned into a spiritual journey. Because I started understanding myself, I started getting connected with my highest self, which is the God energy. And here I am. And then I created my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel has 2,500 subscribers. And then I created workbooks. So I I used my complex nature, telling my story, and then it including astrology and spirituality and my healing journey, and turned that into the foundation for my YouTube channel. As you can see, I was very passionate about my healing journey, about the shit I went through in my life. Okay. And then I used astrology and I used spirituality to help me along this journey, which then turned into the foundation for my YouTube channel. So I use all of my complexities. Like these are totally different things. And these things may seem like they have nothing to do with the other. Okay, because I'm also very into technology and I use technology a lot in my work today. And someone could look at two different um two different passions and think that they have nothing to do with each other. All the while, you have to find the bridge. That's what step five is all about. It's about finding the bridge. I'm trying to find my notes from class so I can give you examples of the two. What? I don't know. Yeah, wait for it to load. But yeah, I want to give you examples of the two seemingly different passions. Okay, here we go. Okay. So some of the seemingly different passions that I found you can actually mix together to somehow monetize or build a community or just build a love for a deeper love for yourself in these passions was, like I said, mixing spirituality with technology. Anyone who mixes spirituality with technology um, can be a healer who builds digital stage plays, like me. So this is basically based off of me and what I do. Because I built this book, and it is a platform for healing for any woman who wants to come in and heal, connect, align, are just interested in spirituality, are just interested in this, in the bride itself. People who are ready to step into their power, like they've been on a healing journey for so long, ready to actually step into sovereignty and do something with that. That is what how spirituality and technology can work out. It could also work as a meditation guide who uses automation to create daily rituals, who uses technology like automation platforms that automatically send out reminders to their community or email automations to their community about what they were doing yoga, what they were meditating, what day is a card reader coming in, things like that. So they use spirituality and technology to build a brand for themselves. I'm going to move on to another. Psychology and design. These are two seemingly different passions that you can bring together to create someone who is a mindset coach who creates visually soothing workbooks. So someone could be in personal growth or mindset shift work, and they create workbooks to help others visually soothing. So this may not be visually soothing for some, but this may be visually for others. Okay, so psychology and design. This is a perfect example of mixing psychology and design. Or it could be a therapist who uses color theory to support emotional regulation. So someone who uses like a rainbow or rainbow spots and says, this color means this emotion. This color means that emotion. This color means this. Like that is someone who uses color theory to support emotional regulation. So you can, this really works for children who don't understand their emotions, like little children who are still their heads are still soft and they're still absorbing information, willing to listen and understand. So like that can be a very, very important job for someone or passion for someone. Someone can be really passionate about creating this color theory to support emotional regulation. And that is mixing two seemingly different passions together, which would be psychology and design, to create a beautiful blend of, of purposeful life. I hope y'all are following me. But I hope that is making sense. Okay, let's do a mm, 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 mm. Somehow it's my music. Okay, so another one could be someone who's passionate in writing, as well as someone, as, someone who's passionate in writing that's nervous. Okay, so that sounds. How can I blend? My passion for writing and my passion for regulating the nervous system together. Okay? That could look like a journaling guide, which is somatic writing rituals. Somatic means within the body. So maybe they are a journaling guide who teaches somatic writing rituals. Hmm, what would that look like? Now this is very interesting. 544 yeah, I want to know about it. So what I want to do in this video today is just give you examples of what blending your two seemingly different passions will look like. And this is what I mean by I use technology in my work all the time because I am someone who is a quick learner. I don't like to be stuck in trying to figure it out and going through all the motions. I want to skip unnecessary steps. So I will use ChatGPT to help me understand what something is saying. And I use that in my work to help other people um, understand what I'm trying to say. Because my brain could be a lot more jumbled. My brain moves very, very fast. And sometimes I can't keep up when I'm trying to explain something. So when I'm journaling or when I'm writing these workbooks, I use technology to help me put what I'm saying in words that would be comfortable for the general audience. Brains, okay. So briefly explain the journaling guide, which is a journaling guide. Writing. That would actually that would actually take whenever I ask someone to kind of takes the piece away from kind of irregulates my nervous system. Okay, so a journaling guide focuses on somatic writing, focus on somatic writing teaches individuals to connect with their physical sensations, with their thoughts and emotions through the act of writing. This approach emphasizes the body as the source of information and insight, encouraging writers to pay attention to feelings, intentions, and sensations that arise during this writing process. In somatic writing sessions, participants are often guided through exercises that involve mindfulness and body awareness, such as breathing techniques, body scans, or movements to help them tune into their physical state. Once connected to their bodies, writers are encouraged to express their inner experience on paper, using free writing or prompts that invite them to explore their thoughts and feelings from a somatic perspective. The goal is to create a deeper understanding of emotions manifest in the body, fostering a richer, intuitive form of self expression. This practice can serve as a therapeutic tool for self discovery, healing, and personal truth. That is actually really beautiful. And that is blending two passions of writing and nurture work together. I just want something. Nature and strategy. Having a passion for nature, having a passion for nature, having a passion for strategy can look like a business coach who uses tools totally different passions from your life and bring them together to create a purpose web. I think I need a whiteboard for these lives. So I'm going to do a purpose web. All right, don't judge. This is what I think a web should look like. So I have so five. This is my web, and this is how we them together. So this is the web. This is my spider web. Spider web. Okay, it's kind of weird. This is my spider web. In this box, we have healing because I like to heal and I like to talk about my healing and how other people can heal in the same ways that I heal. Okay. Then we have spirituality because my audience is mostly people who are into self-love and self-discovery, which is a spiritual journey. A next passion would be self-love, and this is a passion because it should be fun for everybody. This self-love should be a passion for everybody, but trying to love myself is what got me on the path for healing and spirituality. Okay. Then we have astrology. This is another passion. All right. And I love astrology. I'm going to get into astrology even more after I do this. But astrology helped me understand myself, so helped me with my self love, self discovery journey, which then helped me on my spiritual journey and which helped me heal. See how these are all connecting? And then what else? Personal growth. Personal living myself on the spiritual journey, using astrology and healing myself helped me to grow, helped me to grow my mindset. Okay, personal growth. Now I have another web here, space. What is another passion that I basically already went into my purpose with? Authenticity. That was a main authenticity. Because when I first started my YouTube channel, I felt like I wasn't being authentic. Well, like kind of like in the middle, like from the beginning to the first, in the first year, I felt like I started to not feel authentic. I didn't feel authentic when I created this workbook. I'm very transparent. I didn't feel authentic because I had a lot of and which then the fact that I used my own workbook for multiple reasons, but also to I used this workbook to help me understand why I was feeling less than, why I wasn't feeling enough, why I felt like I didn't really do the work. Like I used this book to help me understand, which then helped me to create my essence of being workbook, which is a lot more in depth and a lot more on a healing and graduating into sovereignty type of journal. It is not as simple as my healing the mind. So my healing the mind workbook is more of a beginner, and my essence of being is more intermediate. So, but because I didn't feel authentic. I weaved that into my web. See, now my web is full. This is my web. It's full now. I used all of my passions because I was very passionate about wanting to be authentic. I wanted people to love me for me and not love me for who I was trying to be. See, all my life, I had been trying to be somebody else. I had been trying to be someone that people would want to see or be around when I just needed to be myself. And then I learned in my 30s that I'm I had no friends because I released everyone. I cut off my family and I went into hermit mode. And then I found who I really was using astrology on my spiritual journey. And how I use that is what helped me grow, help my mindset grow, helped me align with the person I'm supposed to be using astrology, using human design, using my life path number, which I've been working with a lot more since the year started. Okay, using all of these tools, using ChatGPT. I can't lie. I should have put another web here, and you can even add stuff to your purpose web. You can add stuff to your web. Okay, that's how spiders do it anyway. Right? They keep adding stuff to their web. So technology, tech is another part of my is another passion of mine, and I used that to help me understand who I am and what I'm supposed to be here doing. And I know that sounds crazy. Like, how did I use tech to understand my own purpose, right? But it's because I use spirituality. I use the love I have for myself, and I use uh, the self discovery and the love that I started to understanding started to understand to integrate astrology, which is also a way to love yourself. When you start integrating astrology into your life, you start understanding who you are. That is like literally the blueprint. Your birth chart is the blueprint to who you are. Your life path number is part of the blueprint to who you are. Your human design is part of the blueprint to who you are. And that will show you, if you don't know what your passions are, that will show you what you're passionate about, how you should go about it, okay? How you can understand yourself, why you are the way you are, okay? And so I use this to understand that I didn't feel authentic because I was using tech. But then I learned on my self discovery and self love journey that as a life path 8, which is a CEO energy, we CEOs don't build their house brick by brick. They guide other people to do it. They tell other people how to build it. They create the blueprint for it. And so I am actually allowed to skip steps, skip unnecessary steps by using technology. You have to figure this out for yourself. You have to understand yourself and start loving yourself. Stop. This was a shadow for me. Like feeling like I was going to be judged or going to be reprimanded by society for using technology to create my brand. But this is a part of who I am. And when you realize at the end of the day, whoever is for you is going to be for you, and whoever is supposed to be aligned with you is going to be aligned with you, then you stop worrying about what other people think about you. And you just start focusing on your passions so that you can lead your purpose with. Okay? You start putting your stuff together, seeing how one goes with the other, how that other goes with another, how that another goes with the other. You have to understand what your passions are. This is a good, I gave myself an idea, but this is a good strategy to use. You can draw out a spider web and start putting in all your passions, and then you can start understanding how one links to the other. These are bridges to each other. Spirituality and healing, they perfect together. Self love and spirituality go perfectly together. Astrology and self love, because I have to put self love and self discovery. Because self discovery, maybe I should just put self discovery. Because self discovery is what helped me to love myself. I had to figure out who I was. What did I like? What did I love? Who was I? What did I want in this world? I had to figure that out. So that was a discovery. This is self discovery. And by using astrology, and once I started trying to figure out who I was and what I was here for and all of that stuff, then I started on a spiritual journey. That is a spiritual journey. Trying to figure out who you are and what your purpose is and what you're here for, and feeling like you have a greater purpose, or feeling like you're meant to do something, or just feeling like you're here for a reason, and you're trying to figure that out. You're on a spiritual journey now. Now your eyes are open to shit that ain't real. Now your eyes are open past this reality. Now you start to believe in things that they told you were not true, and shit like that. Okay, and that is a spiritual journey. So on my self discovery journey, I began a spiritual journey. And on my spiritual journey, I got really interested in astrology. So now, as you can see, I've already together three of my passions. Okay. And as I read in astrology, that helped me understand who I was and self discovery, and helped me to be more authentic, because that was a fear. I was hiding myself. I was hiding my truth about using tech, another passion, to help me along this journey. But tech is what helped me understand astrology more. Tech is what helped me understand my spiritual journey more. Tech is what helped me understand my life path number more. Tech is what what's helping me understand my life path and my human design. Tech. So I can't feel like insecure about using tech for my entire brand. No, I'm supposed to. So I have to weave that into my purpose. And all of this helps me on my healing journey, which was the whole point of why I started YouTube and my workbooks. I was on a healing journey. I was trying to figure out who I was so I can heal from that shit. I started going to therapy because I was starting to do my own shadow work, and I wanted to heal from that shit. That I realized that if I can't heal from the things that are holding me back, then I can't become who I'm supposed to be. And so I weave that in. That is healing is automatically weaved into the web already. It's already weaved. And not saying that healing is my purpose. Healing is not my purpose. Healing is a part of my purpose. Healing is a step into onto my destiny. Okay? Onto the yellow brick road to my destiny. Healing is a step in that. And all of this ultimately brings on personal growth. Another passion of mine. Growth mindset. Always wanting more for yourself, always wanting to learn, always wanting to take a risk, always wanting to do better. This is my this is my will. I know y'all can't see it. I should have did it with a marker. Let me get a marker. Let me get a marker. So y'all can see what I'm talking about. All right. So y'all can actually see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna draw this out bigger, bigger and better, like your life should be. Like you should want for your life, bigger and better. Okay, so how many I have? One, two, three, four, five, seven. So we're gonna draw the web again so y'all can actually see it this time. So yeah. All right, this is my web. This is in my web. These are my passions. These are my passions. Okay. I have a passion for self-discovery. Self-discovery. A passion for healing. Spirituality. Self-discovery and love. Put that right. Spirituality. Astrology. Personal growth. I'm missing something here. Oh yeah. Authenticity and tech. Okay. These are my purpose and my passion. So this is something I don't know. They don't have to wait. All right. This is something anybody could do to understand their passions and figure out how they can bridge them together. How do you bridge together self-discovery and astrology? I use astrology to help me understand my personal blueprint, which is self-discovery. I'm discovering who the fuck I am by using astrology, human design, and life path numbers, all of that. I messed up, probably. I'm distracted. Okay. And on this self discovery journey, I fell into spirituality. I fell onto a spiritual journey because I am trying to figure out who I am. What am I here for? This is how you connect them in this web. And I did all of this because I was trying to heal. And it helped me heal. This helped me heal parts of myself. Being on this self discovery and self love journey, digging into my birth chart, digging into getting onto my spiritual journey helped me to heal. So now we have already connected one half of this web. Okay? Understanding who I was, healing from these things helped me to gain personal. Now we're intertwining all of these things. And understanding myself, using astrology, growing spiritually, and um, changing my mindset, okay, shifting my mindset helped me to feel more authentic, to live in my authenticity and stop hiding myself and shrinking myself to the ground and start letting my light shine because I don't have to fit in with the crowd and I don't need permission from anyone to do what I'm supposed to do here. And the whole reason I was feeling less than and couldn't feel authentic is because I was hiding the fact, or I felt like I needed to hide the fact that I was extremely passionate about tech, and I use tech to help me with all of this. So this is my example of weaving your purpose web. When you weave together your purpose web, you are taking all of your passions. This is what this side is for. What are 5 to 7 things that you are passionate about, that you love to do, that you're good at? And then on this side, how can you weave them together? And what does that look like? How can you bridge the gap? And what does that look like? And at the bottom, when you realize what your passions are, you can put together, you know, a statement piece for your mission. You start to understand what you're here for. You start to understand when you blend together all your passions or a few of your passions, you start to understand what you're really good at and what you can actually how you can actually be a gem in this world. How people can actually use your expertise or your story, your testimony for their own lives. This is why people write autobiographies. Well, I don't know if that's why they write them, but I can see why that how that could be a reason why people write autobiographies. This is why we have so many public speakers and motivational coaches. They all blended together their peace God. How you doing, Knowledge? Um, they all had a story, had a testimony, and they used that testimony to inspire others. That they were passionate about their journey, and they're passionate about their success, and they're passionate about teaching others how to be successful. That's what motivational speakers are. But they are weaving together their healing journeys, okay, their personal growth, okay. Shit, some of them probably weave together a lot of the stuff I got on my way up here. Knowledge Born says you missed the first part. This is the purpose web. So this is step 5 of my Healing the Mind workbook. This is the last step in my workbook and this workbook. And it's all about weaving together or bridging the gap between your passions. You can have you can have seemingly different passions. Like some of the ones I explained were um, writing and nervous system work. Someone could be passionate in writing, and someone can also be passionate in nervous system work. And we found out because it says here someone who is passionate in writing and nervous system work could be a journaling guide who teaches somatic writing rituals. And I was like, that's very interesting because uh, I know that somatic means of the body, right? And so I wanted to know what that looks like. And we found out that a journaling guide focused on somatic writing teaches individuals to connect their physical sensations with their thoughts and emotions through the act of writing. This approach emphasizes the body as a source of um, information and insight, encouraging writers to pay attention to their feelings, tensions, and sensations that arise during the process, right? And it says in somatic writing sessions, participants are often guided through exercises that involve mindfulness and body awareness, such as breathing techniques, body scans, or movement to help them tune into the physical state. Once they're connected to their bodies, writers are encouraged to express their inner experience on paper using free writing or prompts that invite them to explore their thoughts and feelings from this somatic perspective. I thought that was extremely interesting and valuable. Like you could definitely use somatic writing to help you heal. And someone who is passionate about writing and someone who's passionate about nervous system work, that would be a great job for them. That would be a great, um, they could build a really great community doing that type of stuff. And they do. How you doing? Okay. Another one I talked about was psychology and design. Someone could be passionate in psychology. Someone could be passionate in design. And you could sit here like, how the heck am I supposed to blend psychology and design together? But you could be a mindset coach who creates visually soothing workbooks. And I used my workbook as a example. Now I know this could be visually soothing to some people, but this might not be visually soothing to others. But yeah, whoever it resonates with is going to resonate with. But that is the way how you can blend two passions together. And that's when I went on to talk about my healing web, or my purpose web here. I need a whiteboard so it can be bigger so y'all can really see what I wrote on here. It's very small. But basically what I did is created a spider web and put all of my passions in here. Passions. And I just weaved them together. I created a bridge between astrology and spirituality and healing, healing and self-discovery, self-discovery and authenticity, personal growth and tech, and all of this, because these are all my passions. And it could seem like, how are you going to mix tech with spirituality? How do you mix tech with healing? Or how do you mix tech with with a self-discovery? That could be something that someone would be like, how the freak are you going to use technology to find yourself, right? But when you start to discover who you are, when you start to um, use astrology to understand who you are, you start to understand your life path number and your human design, which is a part of astrology. Then you can, when if you're anything like me, you're trying to get to the answer quick. And how do you do that? With tech. You do that with ChatGPT. You do that with AI. You do that with tech. Okay, you're trying to get to the answer quick. You use tech. And I'm very, ever since I found out about ChatGPT, I've been on that shit. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I know there's people in this world who are like, AI is going to rule the world, AI is taking over, AI this and AI that, and they're so negative about AI. Basically, don't let me get a robot. That's going to be my best friend. We gonna rule the world together type shit, okay? Out of love. Out of love. But what I'm saying is, you could also have these different passions that seem like they just don't go together, but they do. And when you start embracing yourself, this is why authenticity is on here. Authenticity is a part of this is a passion of mine. Because, like I said earlier, I was hiding the fact that I like to use tech. I felt like people would judge me for using tech. I felt like I would be looked at as less than for using tech for my entire brand, because my brain is so jumbled with so many things and so many interests, and sometimes my mouth can't even keep up with how fast my brain is moving. I use tech to lay it out, to lay all my thoughts out so that others can understand what it is that I'm trying to put up to the world. And when I learned that about myself, I learned that through I learned that through my self-discovery journey, I learned that being a life path 8 means I'm a CEO. I have a CEO type energy, and a CEO is not taking all the unnecessary steps to get to the final product. They actually are creating the blueprint, hence the blueprints. And I created these blueprints before I even understood that, which means I'm literally aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. Okay, and I'm doing all of this on my spirituality journey, another passion, while I'm healing, another passion of mine. This whole journey started because I was trying to heal. So I was trying to heal, And I was trying to figure out who the heck I was because I was sitting here living for everybody else and not myself. Not understanding who I am, what I want in this world. What do I want? What am I here for? Why am I still here? Why, God, why did I go through all that shit? Why didn't you let me die type shit? I'm supposed to be here. But I need to understand why. Okay? Why am I supposed to be here? So that's when you go on a self-discovery journey. And when you're on a self-discovery journey, you're now in a spiritual, you're in a spiritual space now. You're looking at your life and you're understanding, at least for me, you're understanding that you and God are connected. Okay? And now you're using, not using, but you're working with your higher self to move along your dream. And I feel like this, when I say it this way, it it can be for anybody, not just for me. This can be for anybody. Once anybody goes on a healing or self discovery journey, they are now into spirituality. And I do believe that most people who are in spirituality are dabbling in astrology. Okay, like because once you start to understand that your birth chart is a literal blueprint to who you are. And I don't mean just because you a Gemini, you just all Gemini, and that's your personality. No, that's not what I mean. I mean your full birth chart. I mean like your sun sign, Gemini. I'm gonna use my chart because I don't really care if y'all know my chart. I mean my full chart, like my sun sign, Gemini, my moon sign, Leo, my rising Gemini, my Mercury, Leo, my Aries, like my Sagittarius, these things like my Capricorn, Uranus, and Capricorn, Neptune. Those are extremely important right now because Uranus is going direct this year, and he's been direct in hella years. And when you start understanding what's happening, when people are born, what, what's my Jupiter Libra? And when you start understanding all that shit, like you really start understanding who you are. You really start understanding. And then you add human design. Like my human design is a manifesting generator. I can't do what inch unless my gut say yes. If my gut don't say yes, my sacral chakra don't say yes, it's a no. It's a straight up no. Okay? And when you start understanding that, then you understand your life path number. And whatever your life path number is, when you start integrating all of that stuff, you're now deep into a spiritual and self-discovery journey. Okay? And now you can start feeling a little more authentic. Now you can start loving on yourself. Now you start to feel more connected to God. Now you start to understand why you are the way you are. And you are divinely created and perfectly made the way you're supposed to be. And you have no business trying to make yourself small and make yourself feel less than. Okay? Because I feel like a lot of people on a self-discovery journey into their spirituality, these are passions that somebody who is truly on a self-discovery passion, I feel like the only difference of my passions here, I could also actually add speaking. Speaking is a passion. And I'm literally just figuring this out right now on my job because I really like to fucking talk. But not just that, even years ago, okay, so when I went to prison, I don't know if you know, when I went to prison, I was like, and she was in the Toastmasters class, and she would take me with her to her Toastmasters class. And I don't know if y'all know about Toastmasters, but it's a class for people who want to be public speakers that are extremely nervous about getting up in front of people and talking and teach you all the formalities of being a public speaker. Like, shake hands, what you can do, what side to stand on, how to stand, how to get up on the stage. They give you prompts and you when I got out of prison, I looked into Toastmasters, and I've had an account with these people for years, and I still have and this was before I even before my self discovery journey, before my self discovery. But I always knew that speaking somewhere was a part of my journey. And I'm guessing this is this is the thing. So this is also a passion of mine. And the more you start to discover yourself, the bigger your web becomes. The more stuff get integrated into your web. You start figuring out who you are. This don't look like a spider web, y'all, but yeah, you add stuff to it. You start having more life experience, and you start thinking, wow, I really am passionate about fucking outdoor adventures, nature. These are things I really am passionate about. Okay, you start integrating this stuff. Healing and nature go hand in hand. Astrology and nature go hand in hand. Self discovery is how I found out that I like outdoor shit. You feel me? When you're communicating with someone face to face, which eye you look at. I'm sorry, that's so funny. Um, I have a problem with that actually. I can't look at somebody face to face and talk and look them right in the eyes. I can't. It's weird. I feel weird. I feel it's very cringe. I don't know why, but I can't do it. And if somebody's talking to me and I'm trying to be polite and look them in the eyes, I get hella distracted. I get hella distracted. You look at their left eye. Why? Why do you look at their left eye specifically? I can't do it. I get and then if I get distracted because I'm looking at your eyes now, I can't hear. I know you hear what I know you hear what I hear, but I can't because my brain is going and going. It's thinking about this and this and this and this and this. And I'm just talking out. I just like just try to figure shit out. So I just I feel which eye do you look at, Mario? That is a funny question. Because I know damn well I have to that. It takes practice. You'll have to do. You'll be able to be more focused. I hope so. I know it could probably feel weird to some people that I know. But I feel like I listen to them. It may have something to do with my beliefs. I'm gonna look into that. I'm definitely gonna look into that. I'm looking sign what's up, or the house? Which house? Which house is vacant? I'm definitely gonna look into that. And you know how I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna use my passion for technology and I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, why is it that I can't focus and look at somebody in the eye when I'm and I literally asked ChatGPT to tell me based off my full birth chart, which one of these placements is the culprit? And how can I overcome this? Because maybe it's a fear. It could be a shadow. You know what I'm saying? It could be a shadow of one of my placements that's the culprit of why I can't look somebody in the eye when they talk to me. It's good to do that. That's why self-discovery is so important. That's why these are my very passionate about them. I'm very passionate about speaking and teaching. That should be in a whole nother spot. I'm very passionate about teaching, and not just like, oh, I don't know, but like I'm very passionate about teaching what I learned. So if I learned that this worked for me, and this is the reason why things might be happening, and I want to share that. I want to share. I want maybe it's kind of a this electrical signal, our subconscious. So are the electrical signals from my subconscious to their subconscious like not connected? It's like glitching or like staticky? Because like when you said that, I felt like I saw in my mind signals that weren't like it was like and it was like not it was like off. They weren't trying to connect. That's what I got when you said that. Look at my web, y'all. She's so beautiful. This is literally what my mind looked like, all jumbled together. All I have to figure out. Okay, let me if that's what you want to do, don't be playing. All right, we're gonna let him join and go his purpose set. Okay. Yes. Can't turn on the camera because Stephen Wall doesn't have access to the video. Oh, I'll follow you. Yes, yes. Pen or pencil would be great. Hey, Andrew, happy Friday. Um, when we're looking at someone or something, our mind breaks down what is yes, that is exactly what I feel when I'm looking at somebody in their eyes and I'm trying to talk to them. Because I start thinking about um, just random things. I can't even tell you what I'm thinking about because it depends on the person. Now I'm looking at them, but I'm just thinking about hella things, like thinking about what they thinking. Are they thinking about me? What they thinking about me? What they thinking, like, where is this coming from? What's happening over there? Like my mind, like low key, I feel like I have ADHD or something like that. I think a lot of us do, and we just never been diagnosed. But oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When people interact with me, when people interact with me, more than just a hey, how you doing, where you from, what's your age and sign, like I tend to remember them. Yeah, right. You're not wrong. Well, Xavier, how do I fix that? What that's what I'm saying. I probably need to go deeper into my personal uh dynamic is what I call it. When I talk about my birth chart, my human design, my life path number, when I talk about that, it is my personal dynamic. And I've been literally solving a lot of problems, or not problems, but patterns in my life using my personal dynamic. Have you read the major? Mhm. Hold on. But that is Capricorn energy. Capricorns are go-getters, business owners, like that is Capricorn. But that is part of and when you look at her Scorpio, you see Scorpio, you're only seeing her, what she is. And that just means your sun sign, the sun was in Capricorn when you were born. And your sun sign is, no, my sun sign is the sign, but your sun sign is it's basically like the sun is, let me not give you wrong information, because every planet has its own um what it identifies as, like the sun is more internal feeling, like more outward, like ego type shit, like that is exactly type shit. So yeah, every planet has its own like dynamic. And when you uh your Saturn, your Saturn, no, 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 no. So Saturn and Sun are would be two different planets, and they would be in two different houses. No, they could be in the same house. They could be in the same house. They could be in the same sign. That's why you have to look at your birth chart. You know how to find the birth chart, like you know how to go into it. Okay, so you need three things for your birth chart. You need your birthday. You need your birth time. You usually find that in the birth certificate or gas. Your mom, you know, calls it. And okay, sure, I can do that. And then you need your birth location. Okay, now Xavier, I didn't forget about you. You asked me, do I know my aspects? Now, I don't know them by heart, but I have them in my notes. You need, hold on, y'all hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna go to my notes and I'm gonna airdrop it to my iPad because it's in my notes. But it's on my phone. Okay. And Stephen, like he was asking me about my aspects because when you dig into astrology, there's a lot. Oh, I don't know if that's true, but he was, when Xavier was asking me about my aspects, he's asking me about how certain planets either are oppositions for each other or um, connect or blend well together, like the energy of the planet. So I brought it up. So yeah, as you can see, I got, I got, I got all I have all of my, I have my signs in every house that they're in. I also have my houses along my houses, and then all of these are the aspects. And then these down here are the other aspects, which means they are the planets and the energies. Because like when you look into your birth chart, you'll see that you have an ascendant, which is not a planet, but it's a sign. You'll have your ascendant, and your ascendant is what you're used to. So when people ask you what's your big three or something like that, right? They're like, what's your big three? They're usually talking about your sun, moon, and ascendant, or your rising sign. Ascendant, rising sign. And that is like what the energy that you show to the world. And then you have a descendant that's also like a time and space. That is the energy you're supposed to be going to. So my descendant is Sagittarius. So I'm always trying to get to like energy of Sagittarius. Like, and it's always the opposite of whatever your rising sign is. So on a on your birth chart wheel, which I will bring it up yours up, you'll see um, like on my chart, I would say Gemini, and then opposite that will be Sagittarius. So your ascendant and your descendant are always parallel to each other. So that's like the energy you're trying to get to. You also have your MC, which is your midheaven. Your midheaven tells you all about your career, like what would be the best career for someone. Like mine is Aquarius. Aquarius is out of the box and like fuck the system type shit. So I'm very not when it comes to the things I want to do as well. That's why I could never hold down a 9 to 5. That's why I could never hold down like a real job for real. I always been my own boss. But yeah, so you'll learn stuff like that. You'll learn if you have an IC. Um, I can never say the word, but if you have an IC, that you have a place that you feel and learn from that shit. Because IC placements and move to it. I have I good night. Oh, I'm good. I'm good, Flo. So many other factors, yes. Obviously, where projections are all bad traits. Yes, I really like my textile and my trauma and it's all and blending together. Yeah, like that's not I mean, like square is opposition to conjunct. Like, yeah, you're not trying to do all that. You know about North and South Node. I do know about North and South Node. I get a little confused when it comes to North and South Node because those are different from your ascendant and descendant. And I just learned that recently. So if you know something about that, Gregory, you want to share, it's up to you. You ain't on your best behavior. Stop that. Okay, Susan, I'm ready. So what I would do is go to Cafe Astrology. Cafe Astrology. So Cafe. Like I would go into do Cafe Astrology and then first chart. And then the first option would be Cafe Astrology, do astrology, first chart. And then you can put in your name and put Susan. Okay, I'm ready when you are. So it's gonna ask you your birthday, your birth time, and your birthday. Oh, that's happy birthday. I know it's already been okay, what time? 8:30 exactly. 8:30 exactly. Not 8:31, not 8:32, not 8:29. Because it's very important because some of the things change very quickly and that can literally change up the whole being. So 8:30 a.m. and then wherever you're going, city in city. No, not that's probably the county. So we say Jefferson, Indiana, and it says Florida. It's probably all right. Um, let's see, Gregory said astrology is considered accepted because exactly, exactly. And if you want to know about who you are and why you are the way you are, why you get into relationships like this, why you feel like this is a weird life, why you feel like you want your home life to be a structure, why you feel like why you go through transformations. Like I have Pluto in Scorpio, so Pluto is at home in Scorpio, and I'm constantly going through changes because it's in my sixth house, which is all about daily routines and shit like that. That whole Pluto and Scorpio shit had a lot to do with being paralyzed. Like it's really crazy. It's good. Well, usually what I believe is because once you start changing your own mindset, you start changing who you are, then you allow people that are so you could be that's why we have to do a lot of introspection and a lot of shadow work. Parts of ourselves that we hide and we don't. That ain't me. I ain't like that. Yeah, there's a lot of ways doing stuff like that. Okay, so I don't know what this stuff anymore. Yeah, anymore. We ain't got to talk about it out here. You gotta air out your business, man. You gotta be all in your business.